Hooray. They're operating with an interim coach. He doesn't know whether he'll be back or not, and neither does the club. Their injuries have been tremendous. Patrick Ewing now is out for the season. All three 7-footers have been lost. They will field only 9 men tonight. This is a game the Sonics should win. They've lost the first 2 of this current 10-day road trip. They'll go after this tonight against the New York Knicks for the second time this season. Good evening, everybody. I'm Jimmy Jones, along with Jim Marsh. Bernie Bickerstaff said before the season started that we must win the games that we should win. This is one of those.
Well, Bernie turned out to be a very good prophet. He has done just that, or rather his team has. But this team, the Knicks, though they're undermanned, 9 players, provide a stern test. They are a most difficult underdog team because they possess some good athletes who are very, very quick, a dangerous twosome.
As we look at keys for a Sonics victory tonight, we don't expect the much smaller Knicks to do a lot of posting up, but they will drive. The penetrations must be curtailed.
Well, starting with Gerald Wilkins, the guy who is really coming into his own. He is a guy that must be guarded tight, as well as the rest of the smaller but very quick Knicks. Number 2, at the other end of the court, you can't expect the smallish New York guys to play behind Seattle much. They're going to do a lot of gambling defensively, a lot of traps, a lot of full court stuff. The Sonics need to be on the tips of their toes to be aware for that gambling type of a defense. And the last thing is, offensively, Sonics go inside first. Dominate the paint inside, and then take your game outside and knock a few jumpers down when you soften them up.
Sonics need this one tonight in the Garden. It's been very difficult to win here in the last few years. The Knicks have proved to be a very pesky team, no matter how undermanned. Sonics are healthy, with the exception of Terrence Stansbury, who's still on the injured list with a neck problem. There are a few minor owies, but basically the Sonics are healthy and ready to go at the Garden in New York. Tonight, Sonics action is brought to you by Alaska Airlines, the official airline of the Sonics, serving all of Alaska and cities throughout the West. By Bud Light, the light beer with the first name in taste. Everything else is just alike. We'll be back to Madison Square Garden after this timeout. The Knicks 21-46, 4th in the Atlantic, trying to stay out of the cellar, battling the New York Nets, the team across the river, for that distinction. The all-time series favors the Knicks, 41 wins to 29, and here in New York, the Sonics have struggled indeed over the years, winning only 9 while losing 23. Bob Thornton is out with stretched ligaments and calcium deposits on his left ankle. Pat Ewing is out for the season with sprained knee ligaments. Pat Cummings is on the injured list. He had surgery on his hand. Bill Cartwright, strained Achilles. He's missed 14 consecutive games. He's not on the injured list, but he will not play. Bernard King, scoring champion from 2 years ago, has not played all season. He is back and practicing, and it's possible that he'll be ready to play next week. The Knicks are hopeful of that. Jawan Oldham is out for the season, most likely. They have not declared that yet, but privately they will tell you they do not expect Jawan Oldham back. He has had knee problems. So that adds up to only 9 people available, and a lot of them that have played in the CBA. We are delayed momentarily while the height of the basket is being checked at one end of the floor. And then we'll be underway and ready to go here at Madison Square Garden. The next stop for the Sonics is in Denver on Thursday, and that game also will be seen on the Sonics television network stations. Now at center court is Shannon Gibbons to sing our national anthem.
Can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleam?
Thank you, Shannon.
Earlier this year, quite early in the season, as a matter of fact, on the 8th of November, the Sonics and the Knicks played in Seattle. The Sonics won that one, but it wasn't easy. They won it by only 3 points at the Coliseum in Seattle, 105-102. As I said, although depleted by injury, this is a very pesky club. And they are playing very, very loose. There is no hope of reaching the playoffs for the Knicks. And so their principal interest is staying out of the cellar in the Atlantic Division. They will be in the lottery most assuredly. And as a matter of fact, the Sonics have the Knicks pick if they finish out of the 1, 2, or 3 position. Here are the lineups now for the Sonics. At 1 forward, 6'11" from Utah in his 6th year, All-Star Most Valuable Player, Tom Chambers. 6'7" from Wichita State in his 2nd year, Xavier McDaniel. The man in the middle, 7 feet from Arizona State in his 6th year, Alton Lister. In the backcourt, 6'7" from Tennessee in his 4th year, Dale Ellis. And rookie Nate McMillan, 6'5", from North Carolina State. The Sonics coached by Bernie Bickerstaff in his 2nd year. His assistants are Bob Kloppenberg and Tom Newell. The Sonics trainer and the hardest working man on the club is Frank Furtado. Now the patched up New York Knickerbockers. Starting at 1 forward, number 6, 6'5" from Minnesota in his 5th year. Here's Trent Tucker. The other forward is a rookie, number 34, 6'8" from Kentucky, Kenny Walker. Starting in the middle, number 45 from Gardner Webb in his 2nd year at 6'10", Eddie Lee Wilkins. The guards, Gerald Henderson, former Sonic, 6'2" from Virginia Commonwealth, and Gerald Wilkins, 6'6" from Tennessee Chattanooga in his 2nd year, a former college teammate of Sonic Russ Shaney. Bob Hill, right there, is the interim coach for the Knicks. He replaced Hubie Brown, who was fired early in the year. His assistants are Brad Greenberg and Brendan Malone. The Knicks trainer is Mike Saunders.
Interesting sidelight with Gerald coming over from the Sonics as we take a look at the matchups tonight. With Gerald coming over from the Sonics earlier in the year, and a few disparaging comments fired off from both camps, the Knicks to the Sonics and back. It'll be interesting to see what kind of a motivator Gerald Henderson is in terms of getting his teammates ready to play against his former mates.
Well, he established very quickly a leadership role on the Knicks when he came here. As a matter of fact, they offered him the tri-captaincy. He turned it down. He felt he was the new kid on the block. He didn't want to step in that quickly. But he is highly thought of with the Knicks and very valuable to this club as it is presently composed. Here's the opening tip, and we are underway at Madison Square Garden. Sonics have first possession. The officials tonight, the referee is Mike Mathis. The umpire is Blaine Reichelt. And right off the bat, the Sonics turn it over. Now, there's been some concern by the Sonics coaches of intensity, taking the Knicks too lightly. And they must be up and ready to play this club. They are scrappers. Wilkins, and Alton Lister has the rebound. Matchups favor the Sonics considerably. Here's X in the paint, drills it, and the Sonics have the first lead, 2-0. X being guarded by 6'5" Trent Tucker. There's a 2-inch advantage in favor of the Sonics in that spot.
Interesting, because when Tucker, normally a guard, plays guard, he's 6'3".
They counted goaltending to give the basket to Tucker. Goaltending on Lister, so we're even at 2.
Right off the bat, you see what Knicks are trying to do, and that is take the Sonics one-on-one and go to the basket. Wilkins misses moments ago. This time Tucker with the goaltend.
And a good call. Shot clock is down to 10 for the Sonics. In the paint to Lister. A little trouble controlling the ball and can't get a shot up. Now 4 seconds to shoot it. Ellis from the corner. Yes, sir. Nails it. And the Sonics lead it 4-2. Sonics lost in Boston Friday, 112 to 108. The Knicks lost here to Atlanta Saturday, 97-85. Right in the heart for Trent Tucker. He has 4 points. All of the Knicks total thus far. And is tied at 4. 10.5 minutes to play in the first period in the Garden. Chambers, And a rebound for the Knicks, who do not rebound well. They're last in the league in rebound percentage. Henderson on the penetration is fouled. He'll go to the line. Chambers picks up his first. That's the first team foul.
I think the only guy for the Knicks that'll be content to shoot the perimeter shot is Trent Tucker. He has been on fire of late. The rest of them, Henderson, Sparrow, Wilkins, they'll be trying to test the Sonics' inside defense and quickness and going to the hoop.
1 to go for Gerald Henderson. I mentioned a moment ago that the Knicks were last in the league in rebounding. They've been last for the past 3 years. This will be their 4th year if they finish that way, and it most assuredly seems they will. 2 points for Gerald Henderson makes it 6-4 Knicks with 10:18 to play in the first period.
And here's some of that kind of defense we were talking about, getting ready to trap, only nobody comes to help Gerald Wilkins.
Stolen as Tucker steps in front, deflects the ball. Here's Wilkins to the hoop. Gerald Wilkins with his first goal, and it's 8-4 Knicks. Knicks have lost 5 of their last 6. The Sonics have won 9 of their last 16, but are not winning of late on the road. They've lost 5 of the last 6 road contests. 10 seconds to shoot it. Inside or out in the double team. And a travel violation turns it over for the 3rd time for the Sonics.
Well, that's
no turnovers yet for the Knicks.
It's clear if the Sonics have a lot of turnovers, they're going to be in for a long 48 minutes.
Henderson brings it up against the rookie Nate McMillan. Tucker against X. Another penetration by Henderson. This time the dish blocked by Lister. Good job by Alden Lister. He played very well in Boston. Has played well defensively on this trip. And Tom Chambers is fouled going to the hoop. And the foul will be charged to Kenny Walker, his first and the first team foul for New York.
And New York's first team foul.
Chambers at the line has hit 55 of his last 58, Jim.
Well, he's been shooting very well from the line. Conversely, from the field, he's been really struggling. In fact, both he and X are down in the 30% range in the last 3 or 4 games.
With the exception of the three-point line, for some reason, Tom, while struggling, as you say, from the field, has been dynamite at the three-point stripe. Maybe he should go out there for every field goal attempt. Tom, from 3 points, the last 11 games is 54%, while his field goal mark has slipped down to 46%. First point of the game for Chambers.
Sonics try a little full court trapping action themselves. Those kind of light, soft trap, just trying to get the shot clock down a little bit. And they did with only 10 seconds remaining.
10 seconds to shoot it, and Walker was wide open. Kenny Walker, who was the 5th player chosen last spring, all alone at the hoop. And the Knicks are on top 10-5. Biggest lead of the game. Knocked away by Wilkins, out of bounds, so the Sonics will maintain possession. It will be played in from the side with 12 seconds on the shot clock. But first, the timeout taken by Bernie Bickerstaff. Timeout at the Garden with 8:45 to play in the first, and the Knicks on top 10-5.
Nothing can ruin a good business trip like a bad flight. The food, the service, the crowds can dull even the sharpest decision maker.
Bonard, we've heard nothing but great things about your presentation.
Great. But fair warning, Mr. Proctor is a show-me person.
Break a leg, Bonard.
Next trip, try Alaska Airlines. We'll make your business trip a little easier to take.
Give me a light.
That's not correct, Steve. Don't just ask for a light beer.
Come on, give me a light.
You asked for it, Steve.
Bud Light!
Yes, Steve. Bud Light. The light beer with the first name and taste.
Don't just ask for a light.
Bud Light, because everything else is just a light, Steve.
Jimmy Jones with Jim Marsh at Madison Square Garden. Sonics are down 10-5. Bernie took the timeout fairly early in this quarter. Jim, what do you think is going on?
I would bet that he wanted to talk about that half-court press and how to beat it. The last time the Sonics, as we take a look at Pat Ewing, there with Pat Cummings, as a matter of fact, the other big lad in street clothes. The Sonics didn't get anybody to the middle of the court, and the kind of half-court trap the Knicks are playing, it's imperative that the green shirts get somebody to the high post or center of the court to break it, get into the heart, and then go attack it.
Sonics will play it in from the side with 12 seconds to shoot. Nate McMillan will play it. 2 Chambers in the corner. X is outside and knocked away by Henderson. That's another Sonics turnover. Gerald will take it to the hoop with a left hand and score it. 4 points in the game for former Sonic Gerald Henderson. Knicks now 5 of 6 from the field. Sonics are 2 of 3. More pressure by the Knicks. Tom Chambers with room to shoot it, but cannot get it down, and a loose ball foul is whistled against the Sonics.
Right now, the Sonics are playing right into the Knicks' hands. Not only have the Sonics turned it over a number of times, but they take that first quick shot, and it doesn't go down, and the result, a foul on Alton Lister, a guy you cannot lose.
First foul to Alton, and the second team foul for the Knicks. Henderson under the guard of Nate McMillan, the man who took his place in that starting lineup for the Sonics when Gerald was traded to New York earlier. Alton Lister collects it. We have 8 minutes to play in the first period. The Sonics are down 12-5 to the Knicks. Here's Nate from 20. My goodness. Don't see him shoot that shot very often. He knocks that baby down. And now it's 12-7 with 7:45 to play in the first.
Well, right away, the Knicks are spreading the court, trying to force some one-on-one action. Here it is.
Little lane for Wilkins, and he swings up a nice hook shot. 4 points for Wilkins. 14-7. Sonics trail it by 7. They had an early 2-point lead, and that was it.
Believe me, Jimmy, there's no chance as McDaniel gets his second basket that Tucker can stay away X down in the baseline.
Now the Sonics with a little backcourt pressure. Knicks have lost 4 of their last 5 here at the Garden. No go, and another rebound for Alton Lister. Alton's averaged 12 boards the last 3 games. Here's X in the paint. He's not shot it well of late. And this one goes for the X-Man. He has 6 points tonight. He has not missed a shot. And X has become a bit of a streak shooter, Jim.
He has, but he has played against some bigger people. The Boston Celtics put Kevin McHale on him and made him shoot high arcing shots all night long. And other teams are starting to do that. Put their big forward on X and their small forward on top.
Henderson in the paint again. Lister got a whisper of it. Long outlet for McDaniel from McMillan. Beautiful pass, and the X-Man scores it. 8 in the game for X, and a beautiful pass by McMillan.
Well, the Knicks are susceptible because of their height disadvantage. The Knicks are susceptible to getting the ball off the board. Alton's doing a good job of that and running on him.
And it's a 1-point game at the Garden with 6:17 to play in the first.
An urgent message from the Mazda hotline. Mazda cash incentives are here. Now you can save hundreds on a sporty front-wheel drive Mazda 323.
The third quarter. Here at the Garden, we have 6:17 to play in the first. The Sonics have come back from a 7-point deficit. Trail now by 1, 14-13. Sonics on 5 break opportunities have scored 9 points, Jim.
Well, as I said, the Knicks, because of their height disadvantage, are susceptible to the bigger, almost as quick Sonics going to the basket, and the Sonics have done just that 5 times.
Wilkins against Ellis. Wilkins has played extremely well of late. To the baseline for the jumper. He's got it. Wilkins averages 19 points in his second year. 6 minutes to go in the first. The Sonics are down by 3, 16-13. Rebounding favors the Sonics 6-2, as you would expect against this Knicks club. At the baseline, and X is fouled going up, so he'll go to the stripe.
You can almost predict, Jimmy, that if the Knicks don't throw something of a bastard type of a defense at the Sonics, an unusual defense, that is, that they're going to be scored on or they're going to have to foul, because the Sonics are too disciplined in the half court. Forget the fast break right now, but Seattle is too disciplined in the half court this year, in Bernie's second year, to throw up any kind of nonsense at him and not run a good offense.
Sonics, Xavier McDaniel at the line with 1 to go. He has not missed a shot tonight. 4 of 4 from the field, 1 of 1 from the line. Got him both. And now it's 16-15, a 1-point lead for the Knicks, and the Sonics exert pressure in the backcourt, trying to trap Wilkins. And they clear it in time.
One good thing, the Knicks don't have a reliable shooter at the end of the press to take it right at the basket, and that might be behind Bernie's thinking.
Henderson's shot is blocked by Nate McMillan, kicked out of bounds, and it's off Kenny Walker. So that will be Sonics possession on the side, and the Knicks have turned it over. That's the first turnover of the game for New York. They average turning it over on the season just under 18 times a game. Into X, just short off the rim, and Wilkins rebounds for New York. Here's a three-point attempt. Eddie Lee Wilkins with a dramatic stop and an offensive board for the youngster from Gardner-Webb. 18-15, back to a three-point advantage. Knicks. Elton in the paint has it stripped by Walker. Kenny Walker with help from the weak side knocks it away, and here come the Knicks. Walker with the shot, no, and Lister rebounds for the Sonics, his fourth. X. That's his first missed shot. Stolen for a moment, but no possession by Nate McMillan.
This is not the type of game that Seattle thrives on, whether they're playing short guys or big guys.
Eddie Lee Wilkins, no sir. Gerald Wilkins, his shot is blocked, no, it's a foul. Blaine Reichelt has the call on Dale Ellis. That is his first, and that is the third team foul against the Sonics. 4:07 to play in the first period. The Sonics down by 3. Can go down by 5 as Gerald Wilkins at the line. Not a good foul shooter, 69% on the year. Brother of Dominique Wilkins.
They're touting him this year. The New York press and the Knicks media department, they're touting him for comeback player of the year, and I'm trying to figure out how.
Well, I guess they have to find something to hang some optimism on. It's been a very depressing year again for the Knicks. The optimism was
most
abundant after they drafted Pat Ewing, but nothing has come of it.
I apologize. Not comeback player of the year, but most improved.
Travel violation. Oh, my.
Well, Nate took 2 dribbles and stopped. Besides that, he went over to the sideline and stopped, and that's just like adding another defender.
It'll be played in on the side by Kenny Walker, the youngster from Kentucky. Averaged 20 years for the Wild, 20 points for the Wildcats last year. Here's Henderson. Good rebounding position by Chambers, and he brings it down against Kenny Walker. Another size advantage for the Sonics, 6'11" against 6'8". Sonics set it up in the half court, trailing 20-15. Looking for McDaniel. Knocked away, another steal for the Knicks. Trent Tucker pursued by Lister. Cannot get it. Harris by Lister, but paid off. Three-point attempt by Tucker is short. Tucker saves it in the corner. And we have a whistle. Ball was out of bounds to New York. Here's Bob Hill. He has received assurance, according to the newspaper today, from Scotty Sterling, the general manager in New York, that he has a good chance of remaining next year. But there are a lot of names being bandied about for his job. Can't get it down, and Nate McMillan has the rebound. Nate's been rebounding very well. 6.5 boards the last 11 games. X, yes, sir. Jams that baby home, and he has 12 points. And it's 20-17. Knicks by 3. 3 minutes to play in the first. Got some folks from Seattle here. Pete and John Slice from Renton.
Well, this has been a 3-guard offense for the Knicks. Walker and Eddie Lee Wilkins have not even been anywhere close to being able to shoot the ball.
Not a good shot that time. Here's Chambers at the bucket. Got it. First field goal for Tom Chambers. He's 12th in the league in scoring as of today. Tom has not shot well of late. Although he had 30 points in Boston, he still didn't shoot the ball well.
That took 29 shots. Yeah.
20-19. Knicks lead by 1. Wilkins is stripped. Chambers trying to handle the ball. A little trouble. X with the left hand. Yes, sir. 14 points in this period for X. He's missed only 2 shots. Now the Sonics have a 1-point lead. First time they've led since the first minute of the contest. 2 minutes to play. All alone there. And Kenny Walker scores his 4th point. He's been averaging just over 10, shooting 47% from the field in his rookie year. Somewhat of a surprise last year when the Knicks drafted him. Here's Chambers from 3. He's short. Stays after it, and McDaniel claims it. Tom is fouled. He'll go to the line. Chambers is 1 of 4 from the field tonight. Foul is charged to Eddie Lee Wilkins. That is his first, only the 3rd team foul. That's the first in the last 2 minutes for the Knicks.
Well, the Knicks and their coach Bob Hill are asking a great deal from their outside players, Tucker Henderson and Gerald Wilkins. And as you might expect, he'll need to rest them on occasion tonight, because at both ends of the court, the Knicks, if they're going to stay in any contest, and that includes tonight, they're going to have to go about 150 miles an hour at both ends of the court. There's no resting when you're undermanned in terms of size.
That was the first offensive rebound for the Sonics, the last offensive board. Chambers has his 4th point of the game. Louis Orr, 6'9" from Syracuse, a 7-year veteran, is in the game for the Knicks, number 55. And just added to the roster, playing his 2nd game for New York, number 8, Brad Wright, a rookie free agent from UCLA, 6'11", playing his 2nd NBA contest tonight.
How about when you put your power forward in Louis Orr for a guard and you go down in weight as a team?
You're hurting, buddy. You're hurting. 23-22. Sonics maintain that 1-point advantage. 1:28 to play in the first. Here's Louis Orr. Right on. He's been a very, very steady player throughout his career.
He may not be big and strong, but he's a very efficient shooter.
Yes, he is. Started 64 games for the Knicks last year. Now the Knicks with a 1-point lead. Dale Ellis has been awfully quiet tonight. Inside to Alton against Wright. No foul. Rebound Wright. Wright straight from the CBA. Sparrow scores it. And another penetration pays off for the Knicks. Rory Sparrow from Villanova, 6'2" guard. And the Knicks lead it by 3. Down to 50 seconds to play. Before a shot can be taken, Mike Mathis has a call in the paint, and it's going to go against Joby Wright.
Followed by Brad Wright, his first personal foul.
Brad Wright, excuse me.
I was going to say, boy, Joby's quite a player for a man approaching his 40th birthday. Quick, where did Joby Wright go to college?
1+ for 2.
Well, I can tell you where Brad Wright went to college.
Indiana.
Here's Alton Lister at the foul line. Alton shooting 67% on the season from the stripe. With 2 shots available, makes the first, or his first point tonight. Dale Ellis has only 1 goal tonight. McDaniel has been doing all the scoring. Into the ball game is Chris McNeely, 6'8", from San Jose State in his 2nd year for New York.
Joby Wright, getting back to Joby, he's going to the Final Four as a volunteer coach for his old coach Bobby Knight at Indiana.
45 seconds to play in the first period here in New York, and the Knicks lead it by 1. Let's pause briefly for station identification. This is the Sonics Television Network.
Follow a path of international.
And the Knicks lead 28-25.
I'm not really sure what kind of deep. Really.
Back to the Garden. It's 30 seconds showing on the clock. X to the baseline. Tough shot. Yes, sir. Nails it.
Let's see if we can figure it out this time. The exact defense the Sonics have been in the last several times down. They've left Louis Orr open a couple of times, and Brad Wright a moment ago.
Eddie Johnson has checked into the game for the Sonics. Short. Rebounded by the Sonics. Here's Eddie Johnson nifty to the pass. And a hoop by McDaniel. 18 points for the X-Men. A nice assist to Eddie Johnson. And he has certainly been a wonderful addition to this ball club. Eddie Johnson, 5.5 assists a game for the Sonics. 2 seconds to play in the period. 3-point goal, good if it goes, does not, and that's the end of the quarter. And after 1 period of play in New York, the Sonics lead the Knicks 29-28. Maurice Lucas, Dale Ellis, and Xavier McDaniel on the floor in green, leading by 1. Brad Wright will inbound to begin play in the second quarter, and we're underway in New York.
Sonics continue with that little full court. After the first pass is made, then they back up to their man-to-man in half court.
Five seconds to shoot it. A 3-point attempt is well short of the target. McMillan with a rebound. Eddie Johnson goes with abandon to the hoop. Does not score the goal, but he is fouled by Rory Sparrow. That's his first and the first team foul of the period. And Eddie Johnson will be at the foul line. He's a good foul shooter, 79%, and he's hit 23 of his last 24. Clement Johnson checks in for the Sonics. He replaces McDaniel, who had 18 points in that first period.
For the most part, Seattle's done a good job defensively of making the Knicks shoot from the perimeter. Several shots by the Knicks have been from great distance. That means there are going to be more long rebounds, and if the Sonics can cover them up as they did this last time, they'll get themselves a lot of nice break opportunities.
First 2 points in the game for Eddie Johnson. He's averaged just under 11. Giving great stability to the backcourt. 31-28. Sonics lead it by 3. Biggest Sonics lead of the game. Wilkins from the baseline. Gerald Wilkins is a 50% shooter. He has 10 points tonight. And it's 30-31. Sonics by 1. And we have a foul on Lewis Orr, I believe. We'll wait for the indication. It is Lewis Orr. And that is the first for the 7-year veteran from Syracuse. Second team foul of the period. Non-shooting foul, so McMillan plays it from the side. Don't forget, everybody, we'll be in Denver on Thursday and home next Friday against Golden State. That's a very, very big game. So get your tickets now for the Sonics and Golden State next Friday at the Coliseum. Tapped out and controlled by the Knicks. They're off and running. Wilkins. Oh, he came down before he released it. That's traveling.
Boy, Eddie did a nice job of cutting Gerald off, not allowing him to get any closer than 6 or 7 feet to the basket. And Eddie also made sure that he couldn't get his momentum up and jump over it, because Gerald can do that.
31-30. Sonics by 1. Long pass. Knocked away by Eddie Johnson, but he had poor position and couldn't help but foul. Valiant attempt, but he does foul. His first team foul for the Sonics.
Take a look here, and let's see if it's pinned.
Can't tell from that shot, but it appeared to be, but you really can't tell.
And if we had a difficult angle, rest assured Mike Mathis, the out official who was right in front of us, had the same difficult angle.
Still with the dribble, Rory Sparrow. Knocked away by Ellis. Lewis Orr gets far too close, right to the hoop. 4 in the game for Orr, who averages 6. Not shooting it well on average this year, 39%. And the lead vaults back to the Knicks, 32-31. Coach Bob Hill has been charged with a technical foul for something he said. And Maurice Lucas will be at the line to shoot the tee. Lucas hit 62 of his last 70 foul shots, and on the season shoots 84%. Well, he doesn't miss many. Danny Young checks in for the Sonics. He replaces Nate McMillan. So it's Young, Johnson, Lucas, Clement Johnson, and Dale Ellis on for the Sonics in green. Luke against Wright. 20-footer. Yes, sir.
How can you miss a free throw and knock a 20-footer about 5 seconds later?
Very good point. 9:52 remaining in the first half. The Sonics lead it by a point, 33-32. Sparrow against Young. Eddie Johnson on Gerald Wilkins. Here's Orr dropping off, but right into the hands of Dale Ellis. Third turnover for the Knicks. Well, the Sonics set it up in the half court. Ellis didn't have many shots in that first period. Does not get it down. Dale shot only once and made it in the first quarter. Stolen by Danny Young. Third turnover this quarter for the Knicks. None for the Sonics. Ellis to the hoop. Yes, sir. Spins that baby in. 4 in the game now for Dale. And the Sonics lead it by 3, 35-32.
Not many hoop opportunities for Dale in the first quarter because they were going to X. Now Dale's one of the 3 guys in of Tom and X. They might be going to him a little bit more.
Quick pop falls short. Knicks as a team shoot 48% from the field. Eddie Johnson trying to pass through too many arms. Not a good decision on the pass. The Sonics turn it over for the first time in this quarter.
That's a little bit surprising for a veteran to do that. You don't see Eddie Johnson make wrong decisions on the break as to whether to pass or not very often.
Sparrow against Young. 5 seconds to shoot it. Sparrow still with the dribble. 18-footer. Wright looked like he shoved off, but there was no whistle. Brad Wright scores it. Former UCLA player.
The Knicks are almost with disdain looking at their inside people, McNeely and and Brad Wright totally outside oriented.
Sonics with a point lead, 35-34. And Ellis walked with the ball. Tom Chambers returns to the lineup, replacing Ellis for the Sonics, who gives a very nasty look to Blaine Reichelt. Dale obviously displeased with that decision. Doesn't say much, doesn't complain much. Handles it very well.
And that means that when he does complain, he's generally right.
7:48 remaining in this second quarter. The Sonics lead by 1. Knicks have 6 seconds on the shot clock. Here's Louis Orr against Chambers. McNeely now down on the baseline. Comes up short. And we have a loose ball foul whistled by Mike Mathis. And it goes against, I believe, Clement Johnson.
Well, the Sonics are big up front with Lucas Chambers and Clement. Now Alton Lister checking back for Clement, but the shorter Knicks right now on occasion are proving to be a little bit quicker to the basketball.
Clement Johnson playing with a lot of courage. That broken nose bothers him a great deal, but he only missed 1 game as a result of it. Wilkins, nice shot. He has 12 points, and the Knicks lead by 1, 36-35 with 7:18 to go. Knicks very loose. They have really no hope of gaining the playoffs, as I mentioned before. Lister, no foul, my goodness. Chris McNeely scores it, and the Sonics turn it right back over again. Rory Sparrow. Three shots at it. The Knicks could not get it down. Oh, the Sonics will take a timeout and talk it over. A quick reversal here. 6:45 to play in the second, and now the Knicks lead it by 3. 38.
Now 6-24. I would. I remembered a few more than that, but that's 6 points.
X is back, the leading scorer with 18 points in the first period. Danny Young, McDaniel, Chambers, Lister, and Eddie Johnson on the floor for the Sonics. 6 seconds to get a shot up. 4 seconds. Eddie Johnson will take it well over the hoop, right into the arms of X. Tapped up by Chambers. 7 points in the game for Tom. 6:20 remaining in the first half. The Knicks lead is 1, 38-37. Biggest lead of the game has been 7 by the Knicks. Sonics' biggest advantage 3 in this quarter. 10 seconds on the shot clock. Stolen by the Sonics as the Knicks turn it over for the 4th time in this period. Eddie Johnson, nice little move. And Alton Lister is fouled.
Fouled by Gerald Henderson.
Gerald Henderson picks up his first.
This is first personal foul, and New York's third team foul.
Third team foul for the Knicks. Sonics have 2.
It's been a moment or two since we've seen Danny Young in the Sonic game in the first half.
Inside to Ellis. Got it. Nice play by Dale Ellis. He has 6 points now. Rebounding in the game, very tight. New York 18, Sonics 17 at this point. Sonics lead by 1, 39-38. And a foul as Gerald Henderson got the shot, tried to get the shot away. Danny Young picks up his first. That's the 3rd team foul for the Sonics.
Sonics have 3 team fouls.
Well, Gerald Henderson will go to the stripe.
Kenny Walker,
an excellent foul shooter.
34 is for New York.
Substitution for New York as the rookie Kenny Walker returns.
Gerald Henderson on the line. 2 shots.
2 shots for the G-Man.
Gerald wants us to make sure that he says hello to all his golfing buddies out in Seattle. And among them, a good friend of his, Fuzzy Fujiyama, who Gerald has played numerous rounds with. Gerald's a very, very good golfer.
He's a good athlete and very uncharacteristic. Gerald Henderson blows both at the line, so the Sonics maintain the advantage. 1 point, 39-38, and we have 5:22 to go in the first half. Sonics have not played well in recent years. They've lost 4 straight at the Garden. Go to Dale Ellis. Yes, sir.
Now Gerald's having to guard a much taller man in Dale Ellis, and Danny does a nice job of making sure that he deposits the ball in Dale's lap.
3-point lead for the Sonics, 41-38. Wilkins overplayed by Ellis. Scores it.
I don't know overplay him that far out, because if he gets inside your defense, you're much better off playing honest defense. Gerald's much too good of an athlete not to score.
Inside to Chambers over a double team. Despite the double team, a huge size advantage there, and Chambers scores the goal and is fouled.
I think the Knicks have switched up a little bit, maybe to try and slow X down, but they're putting their bigger Kenny Walker over on the other side to guard McDaniel, and that means Tom is going to be guarded by Trent Tucker, who, again, as I say, as a guard, I think they listed him at 6'3" coming out of Minnesota. Now as a forward, they bump him up to 6'5", and I don't know if he's anywhere near 6'5".
One shot for Chambers. He has 9 points in the game.
I just looked at our statistician's sweater, and it's a Boston Celtics sweater here in the Garden. Cannot believe it. They allow it in here.
A man for all season. Henderson, all the way to the bucket goes Gerald Henderson. He has 6 points in the game. Gerald has 2 field goals, both on penetrations. 4.5 minutes to play in the first half. The Sonics lead it by 2, 44-42. 8 seconds to shoot it.
Boy, Dale's wide
down
open.
to 5. Got to get a shot off. 3 seconds. 1 second. Just did beat the shot clock, but there's no goal, and it goes the other way. Rebounded to McDaniel. .358 remaining in the first half here in New York. We'll be talking with Clement Johnson at halftime. Here's a 3-point attempt. A good foul. No, it's a 2-point goal. Just over the line. Strong rebound by X, who is fouled by Walker. That's 4 fouls now on Kenny Walker. And the Knicks certainly can ill afford to have people in foul trouble with only a 9-man roster.
Well, the Sonics, even when X did check back in here in the second quarter, haven't chosen to go to him much. He comes up with an offensive rebound here as we see Nate McMillan check back in for Danny Young. But X, with that prolific first quarter, has no points here in the second quarter. Am I looking at things correctly?
That's his first point of the quarter. It's 19th point of the game.
But when you have 3 tremendous scores, as the Sonics do, at times, not all the time, but at times, you can get yourself out of whack a little bit by trying to go too much to one guy and to the exclusion of the other. And that first quarter, I think, got the other two, Ellis and Chambers, off the mark a little bit.
Sonics lead it now, 46-42. McNeely, Wilkins, Henderson. Well, this is like looking at a CBA All-Star team. 4 seconds on the clock.
McNeely just walked there.
24-second violation. Turnover number 5 of the quarter for the Knicks. They turned it over only once in the first quarter. Bob Hill, who doesn't know whether or not he'll be back. He's the interim coach replacing Hubie Brown, who was fired. Some interesting names in the hat for the job here, including Larry Brown of Kansas, Rick Pitino of Providence. X scores his 22nd point, and it's a 6-point Sonics lead, their biggest. Gerald Wilkins, way over the hoop on an air ball, but he was fouled by Ellis. Second foul to Dale Ellis.
Well,
and the Sonics will be over the limit.
I was just going to say, by and large, the last 3 or 4 minutes, Seattle's done a nice job defensively of taking away all the passing lanes and driving lanes of the quicker Knicks. That time, though, you give Gerald Wilkins a little room to run, and he's such a great athlete. He just jumped up and over.
Talking about an athlete, you remember the All-Star game in Dallas 2 years ago when he set the chairs on the floor in the 3-point, or rather the slam dunk contest. Some spectacular, athletic demonstration by Wilkins.
He and Terrence set the world on fire then.
48-43 Sonics, 2:53 to play second quarter. Inside to Lister. Tapped out by Lister, but it's collected by the Knicks' Trent Tucker. Henderson. Rebound Lister. Nice pass by Chambers. And X is fouled. He'll go to the line for 2. The foul is to Trent Tucker. That's his first. Knicks will spend a timeout with 2.5 minutes to play in the second quarter, and the Sonics leading it 48-43.
in the morning.
But it was nice, huh?
Indeed it was. X at the line prepared. Drills the first. Front court scoring. Sonics had 36 points. The Knicks only 18. And this guy has got 23 of them for the Sonics. Comes up short that time, and Wilkins. Nope, not Wilkins. It'll be Chris McNeely with the rebound for the Knicks.
Has McNeely or Wilkins, Eddie Wilkins, even attempted a shot yet?
McNeely has 1 goal in 2 shots. Nice looking running hook shot.
That's what you don't want.
Wilkins has 9 points in this quarter and 17 in the game.
If he gets up ahead of steam like that, he's got great athletic ability. He can score. You got to play off him a little bit, not let him get any kind of a room to go to the basket.
He had a 9-game streak in February where he averaged 27.5 points. X with another hoop. He has 25 points in the game. Sonics had 19 points on the break to New York's 11. Excuse me, to New York's 12. Score, 1:45 to play. 51-45 Sonics. 6-point advantage. Matching an earlier 6-point bulge, the biggest lead for Seattle.
Make Gerald Wilkins prove it from the outside.
5 seconds on the shot clock. Wilkins gets in deep, blocked by Chambers. And collected by Ellis. Out of bounds to the Sonics on the side. McDaniel will play it in from the side. Oh my, that's a chancy pass.
Yeah, but he and Dale had some great eye contact. Oh, that is a chancy one though. That's a Magic Johnson pass.
Bob Hill frustrated with all the injuries. 6 folks injured at the moment for New York, including all 3 7-footers. The foul to Gerald Wilkins is first, and Ellis at the line.
I'll tell you, 2 guys that don't go anywhere off the court. They spend a lot of time together and have become very good friends. Are Dale Ellis and Xavier.
There goes Henderson out of the game, replaced by Rory Sparrow. And 1 shot remaining for Dale Ellis.
And that may be one reason why X found Dale there.
Nice pass. Another one. Probably Nate should have taken that to the basket.
Yeah, that is. But he has a passer's intellect. And given the choice, he's going to pass rather than shoot.
Tom was hit upside the head.
Upside the head.
Upside the head, my daddy used to say.
He got a whack the other night by Larry Bird, and I think he got hit in the same ear. That's his left ear.
Well, that hurts, too.
Let's take a look. Yeah, Larry hit. Yeah, there it is right there. Larry hit him almost in the exact same spot the other night. In fact, Frank Furtado had to come out on the court and they have some substitute for him then as well.
He's a tough kid. He'll stay in there. He wants to play. And I couldn't believe it when somebody, I don't know who it was in Seattle, wrote that someone said Tom didn't have any heart. You can criticize any player. You can criticize Tom as well for some things, but he's got lots of heart.
Goodness gracious, there's not a night goes by, whether it's in practice or in a game, that he and X don't leave a piece of themselves out on the court. And that's a term or a saying that sports people have, as to, and which is characteristic of guys who give everything on the court. And both those 2 guys, X and Tom, have a ton of that.
You got that right, big fella. 2 shots at the line for Tom Chambers, an 86% foul shooter on the year, 12th in the league in scoring, 23.4, as the Sonics continue to have 3 people averaging better than 20 points, and all 3 among the top 20 scorers. It's been that way all season long.
Yeah, you can bump that up. 22 points or higher, and that, I think, sifts out to be a little bit. There's fewer teams in the NBA that have had that happen than just 20 and above.
Sonics pressure in the backcourt. 1:10 to play in the first half. Sonics lead it 53-45. Their biggest lead.
Nate McMillan wisely plays off Gerald.
Short. Blocked by Lister. Collected by McMillan. So give McMillan a rebound. He has 6 boards. Chambers back to Kevin Williams, a native New Yorker. He buries it. First hoop for Kevin Williams, who really had some moments here in the Garden in his college career at St. John's. We'll have a foul charge to Kevin. And that is the first. Sonics are over the limit.
His first personal foul. Sonics are over the limit. Gerald Wilkins shooting 2.
Wilkins will be at the line, a 69% shooter on the season. Tonight, he's 3 of 4 from the stripe.
I guess if there's one area of his game that he needs to bring up a little bit, it's that free throw shooting. You know, I was wrong earlier, and maybe I corrected myself, but in case I did, New York media, they're pushing Gerald Wilkins for most improved player, not comeback player of the year. I don't know where I got that.
34 seconds to go in the first half. Sonics lead it 55-47. Here's X. Stripped by Tucker. That's out of bounds to the Sonics. 8 seconds on the shot clock, 25 seconds on the game clock. So it'll have to develop quickly here as X will play it in front of his own bench. Chambers has it stripped, but there's McMillan. Tom at the hoop, and not enough quick folks out there to stop it.
Sonics lead 57-47.
Now you got to play way off Wilkins. Don't let him get ahead of steam to the basket.
Biggest lead of the game now, 10 points with 5 seconds to play in the half. Goodness, Wilkins stumbles through the paint and scores it. 13 points in this quarter, 21 in the game for Wilkins. That's the end of the first half of play in New York at halftime. The Sonics 57, the Knicks 49.
Ladies and gentlemen, we'd like to remind you that smoking is not permitted.
Don Ripley, also of the same firm, are here tonight.
Stuart Chernus from the Los Angeles Times is here as well. See that
You mean the Seattle Times?
Yeah, Seattle Times.
You said Los Angeles Times.
Oh, did I? I meant the Seattle Times.
I did the same thing the other night. 59-51 Sonics. Chambers bangs it in hard, but that baby stays down. 16 points for Tom.
As this game wears on and it becomes increasingly clear that the Sonics are not going to be bamboozled by the quickness of the Knicks, I think the Knicks will become a little bit more frantic in their offensive play and become a little bit focused on Gerald Wilkins and defensively as well.
McNeely, bad shot. Ugly shot. And Alden is poked in the eye.
And bamboozled, I mean frazzled. That's a basketball term.
Here's X. X with remarkable shooting in the first half. 10 of 13.
There's no need for a hurried shot. No need to shoot a shot that's highly contested tonight.
10-point lead, 61-51 Sonics. Eddie Lee Wilkins against Lister. Good job by Alton.
Holy mackerel. There was a reason, I think, that they didn't go to those two guys much in the first half.
Lister clears it out to Chambers, and he'll take that baby home. 18 in the game for Tom, and we have a timeout used by the Knicks. 9:22 to play in the third, and the Sonics have bumped their lead. It's Sonics 63, Knicks 51.
This bud's for all that you do.
I'd like to help you. I just don't have the time.
Gerald Henderson calls out the play and penetrates again. Gerald has 4 baskets. All 3 of his 2-point goals are on penetration. 65-56 Sonics, 8:20 to play in the third. X. Sonics out-rebounded the Knicks 26-20 in that first half. My goodness. Henderson, hoping to draw the foul, just threw the ball up, and it went in the bucket. Chambers, closer. Right back comes Nate McMillan. 4 points in the game for Nate, along with 7 rebounds and 6 assists.
Under no circumstances, and maybe in the full court, but in the half court here, to press a guy like Gerald Wilkins and allow him to get inside your defense is not, I don't think, what you want to do. See, Gerald gets in, Wilkins gets inside the defense. The ball went over the backboard, and hence the Sonics get the ball out of bounds. A high rebound over the side, the play into the hoop. But boy, you can't be pressuring Henderson and Wilkins in the half court. Once they've broken that full court pressure.
67-58. Sonics on top. They go inside to Chambers. No basket. A foul.
Followed by Gerald Henderson.
Gerald Henderson picks up his second.
When you run this little play between Chambers and the guard, you're ending up with the guard effectively guarding Tom inside.
Ellis. Sonics have gone cold here in the last 2 minutes. Lead it, however, 67-58. Seven seconds to shoot it. Could have called an illegal defense on that switch a moment ago. An air ball, and Lister will be credited with his 11th rebound. 6:52 to play in the third, and Dale Ellis is fouled at the baseline, and it's going to go to Trent Tucker. The second personal on Tucker, third Knicks team foul.
And New York's second team foul. Louis Orr, number 55 in New York.
Louis Orr returns for the Knicks, and he replaces Chris McNeely. Correct those team fouls. It's 2 team fouls for the Knicks and not 3. Ellis, they give him a little room, and he takes advantage of it quickly. 10 points in the game for Dale, and the Sonics lead by 11, 69-58. Sonics 5-6 in the month of March. A win tonight will even things up. Sonics on the road 11-25. That's already 4 wins more than total last year on the road. Tucker with 1 second on the shot clock. And another rebound for Lister. Long outlet. X slams that baby home. 27 points for X. And we have a 20-second timeout used by Bob Hill.
Seattle is playing off the perimeter players, and the reason is the Knicks haven't shown that they're
32 for the Knicks. In this second half, Sonics dominating with 14-4 inside points. Knicks with possession will inbound at the baseline with Eddie Lee Wilkins playing it in. Earl Wilkins. Nice layoff by Wilkins to Trent Tucker. Wilkins, of course, drawing all the attention. He lays it off to Tucker, and he has his 8th point. 71-60. 11-point advantage for the Sonics.
That's why it's more effective to let Gerald shoot from the outside, not let it snug up so tight defensively.
Open shot. Ellis. Yes, sir. 12 points for Dale. He was 4 of 5 from the field in the first half. Dale was 2 of 4 from the field in the second half. 73-60, 13-point votes for the Sonics, matching their highest point total in the game. Here's Eddie Lee, fouled by McMillan. The foul is the first of the game for Nate. Second team foul for the Sonics.
You know, the Knicks, Jimmy, are one of the poor free throw shooting teams in the league at 73%. And you look down the line, they've got some guys in the 80s and high 70s, but then they've got some guys that are resting down in the low 50s and the 40s, and this is one of them. Eddie is not shooting the ball in fact, he's exactly 50% this year. If I read this thing right.
That's the 3rd point of the night for Eddie. 50% on the season. He did not play last year. He was injured all season. 2 years ago, he played 54 games. Not a household name.
No, but there have been a lot of nice guys that have toiled in the NBA that weren't household names. Our moms always liked this, fortunately.
Yeah, but not all the time.
No, you got that right. Oh, you got that right.
5:10 remaining here in the third period. The Sonics lead it 73-61. 5 seconds on the shot clock. 3 seconds, and Lister cannot score it. Let's pause for station identification. This is the Sonics Television Network.
You're watching KTZZ Stereo TV 22, Seattle.
Eddie Lee Wilkins just trying to be too fancy. Trying to emulate his, or rather Gerald Wilkins, trying to emulate his brother. And it's stolen by Chambers. 8 seconds on the shot clock. High pass to Tom against Henderson. That was goaltended. Give Chambers the goal. 8 points in this quarter and 22 in the game now for Tom.
Boy, Nate has done a nice job of picking and choosing that little pick and roll pass. He's laid it up nicely for Tom on a number of occasions this evening. I don't know what his assist total is, but he had 6 at halftime. He must have it.
Wilkins gets the goal, and he is fouled. That's the first points for Gerald Wilkins in this half. He has 23, and he will be at the line for 1.
There you see Gerald standing inside with his hands raised for a couple of counts. He has spent a lot of time tonight coming out on the outside of that screen. That time he faked Dale out and jumped back to the inside or to the key.
That's the 3rd personal on Dale Ellis. Wilkins now with 24 points in the game. 75-64. Sonics a moment ago with their biggest lead, 14 points. Eddie Johnson will check in for the Sonics at the next dead ball. Nice penetration by McMillan. Does not get the goal, but he will be at the foul line. The weak point in one of the weak points in this game, of course, is his foul shooting. Made on the season 61% from the line.
And you know, it amazes me that he still is able, Jimmy, to pile up all these assists. And he has been, 10 assists per game over the last 11 games. All these assists, and teams know that he's not looking for his shot. 1, 2, even if he did, he's not necessarily a high percentage shooter.
Travel violation. The 2 Knicks players, Orr and Wright, each struggling for possession of the ball. They walked with it. So the Sonics will have it back. Nate McMillan is out of the game, and Eddie Johnson has come on for the Sonics. 4 minutes to play in the 3rd quarter, and the Sonics lead it by 12. Got blocked. In and out for X. That'll be Knicks ball. We have a loose ball foul charge on Dale Ellis.
Loose ball foul charge against Dale Ellis.
That's 4 fouls now today.
That's Ellis's 4th personal foul.
Lemon Johnson has returned for the Sonics to replace Alton Lister. No foul trouble really for the Sonics, with the exception of Ellis, who has 4. Lister has just 1. McMillan has just 1. Sonics lead 76-64. 3:45 to go in the 3rd. Sparrow against Johnson. Tucker against X. Into right, guarded by Clement Johnson. Where did he get that? Chambers with a rebound. Tom to the hoop, knocked away nicely by Trent Tucker.
Yeah, nice block. No question there. Tom, knowing as much, just calmly walks back out to the side free throw line where he'll get set to inbounds the ball.
Here's Dale Ellis going to the bench. You saw Danny Young come on to replace him. Sonics inbound with 17 seconds on the shot clock. Open shot for Tom. Short, but rebounded by Eddie Johnson. So a new 24 on the shot clock. 12 points, Sonics advantage. And Danny Young calls timeout. So we have a timeout, Sonics, with 3:15 to play in the 3rd, and Seattle leading it by 12.
The most popular Porsche in Europe is the Porsche 924S. Europeans have been happily putting it through its paces.
Into Clement Johnson. Nice shot. Nice catch by the big fella.
Clement is an underrated offensive player. Down low.
78-64. 14-point Sonics lead. Second time tonight they've had a 14-point bulge. Biggest advantage of the game. 6 seconds to shoot it. Tucker, a 4th shot. Banks it in. And he has 10 points in the game. That's his season average for the Knicks. 2 minutes, 40 seconds to play in the 3rd. Eddie Johnson goes to the left hand, but cannot get it down, and Walker rebounds for the Knicks. 3-point attempt from Tucker, their 3-point specialist. Lewis Orr in the paint does not get it down. And we have a foul. There was a lot of contact in there, and a loose ball is called against Chambers.
That's one bad call. Tom before was grabbed pretty good. The proper thing here perhaps might have been a no call on, or a non-call on either side, because both guys were grabbing each other pretty good, and the first one was let go.
Thrown away, turned over by the Knicks for the 4th time in this quarter. Only 1 turnover so far in the quarter. by the Sonics. Sonics have out-rebounded the Knicks 44-30. My goodness, at the halftime, it was 26-20. 44 rebounds for the Sonics already.
2 minutes.
2 minutes to play in the third quarter. Chambers with a double team. Right to the quick outlet to Rory Sparrow, but Danny Young is back. Nice steal by Danny Young. Excellent job. It's 2-on-1, 3-on-1 as Eddie Johnson fills the lane in the middle, but there's no goal, and it goes the other way. Almost walked. Sonics lead it by 12, 78-66, a minute and a half to play in the third. Louis Orr against X with 5 seconds to shoot. No. A foul is whistled by Blaine Reichelt before the shot can be taken. And Xavier McDaniel will be called. That's only the first foul to McDaniel. Not a lot of fouls tonight, Jim, by the Sonics.
Well, for their part, the Knicks have stayed in the perimeter. We've seen several 24-second violations on their part. They've been unsure. They've been at times a little bit confused. And Sonics have done a nice job of just laying back in the woods and making the Knicks come to them, with few exceptions, most of them around Gerald Wilkins, where they snugged up on him a little bit too tight, and he's blown right by him.
5th point of the night for Louis Orr. He started 64 games last year. 1 to go.
He has not put on much weight as a pro, has he?
No, he hasn't.
Came into the league Reed-like, and he continues to be a thin fellow.
10-point lead now for the Sonics with 1:20 to play in the third. A lot of pressure by the Knicks.
You got it right. There you go.
6 seconds to shoot. Chambers off the window, cannot get it down, and the rebound. Nope, it's a foul. Blaine Reichelt has it.
Football foul charge against
Clement Johnson picking up his second. Sonics are over the limit. So it's a 1 plus the penalty advantage for the Knicks.
First foul.
1 minute and 4 seconds to go in the third quarter. Tomorrow we leave for Denver. Thursday night meeting with the Denver Nuggets, and that will be seen on the Sonics television station. Remember that. Thursday night in Denver. Louis Orr is at the line. 1 plus the penalty for 2. Tucker is out for the Knicks. Orr, Wilkins, Sparrow, Wright, and Walker on for the Knicks in white.
Well, the Sonics have allowed the Knicks to climb back in it via the free throw route. Orr has knocked down 4 straight.
9,038 at the Garden tonight. They've been averaging over 13,000, 7th best attendance mark in the league. Quite remarkable considering they've only won 21 games and have been battling to stay out of the cellar. Chambers with his 10th point of the quarter, 24th of the game. The Sonics lead by 10, 80-70. 40 seconds to play in the third quarter. Wilkins still with a dribble. Orr. He was trapped in the corner and turns it over. X to Chambers. Yes, sir.
That's a nice feed by X, who we've remarked in this little road swing that he has become an efficient passer in the middle of that Sonic break.
Chambers now with 26 points. X with 27. Foul in the paint. Cannot send Walker to the free throw line. I believe it's going to go against Chambers. It is Chambers' third. There's a good look at Tom having the best year of his professional career.
Everywhere he goes, people want to get an autograph from the All-Star Games MVP. He has really struck gold in terms of identification here on the East Coast.
This could certainly be a big year for awards for the Sonics organization. Chambers, the MVP in the All-Star game. Dale Ellis could certainly achieve some All-NBA awards and other honors. Executive of the Year, most certainly, and deservedly so, could go to Bob Woodson. Coach of the Year, perhaps, to Bernie Bickerstaff. Sonics bust out of the trap. That's the end of the period. Knicks did a good job. Sonics could not get a shot away, and that's the end of the third. After 3 quarters of play, the Knicks lead the Sonics. Excuse me, the Sonics lead the Knicks 82-71.
Down that shot clock on a number of occasions, under 2 and 3 seconds. Number 2, they've done a good job, with rare exception, against the gambling defenses of the Knicks. And Sonics have their share of inside points. In addition, they've really turned the tables on the quicker Knicks and gotten a lot of fast break hoops.
Third quarter, Sonics shot 48% from the field on 12 of 25. Knicks only 7 of 16, 44%. And the Sonics turned it over only 1 time. So after 3 quarters, Sonics with just 10 turnovers. The Knicks also, no, they had 12 turnovers for the game. Here's Chambers. Barry, a 20-footer. He has 28 points. Sonics have Danny Young, Eddie Johnson, Xavier McDaniel, Clement Johnson, and Tom Chambers on in green. This is Rory Sparrow under the guard of Young. Gerald Wilkins, who's carried the offensive load. Here's Lewis Orr. Scores it. 10 points for Lewis Orr off the bench.
84-73.
84-73. And a foul.
I thought backcourt was going to be called. But I think if we would see that again, we would find that the ball never left the backcourt. And Eddie was pushed. His feet may have been in the front court, but the ball was never in the back or in the front court.
The foul is the second to Gerald Wilkins and the first team foul for the Knicks. Tucker, Wilkins, Orr, Sparrow, and Wright on for the Knicks. 6 seconds to shoot it. Danny Young, very good shooter when he's squared up to the basket, and he was, and knocks it down.
And with the flexibility of Eddie Johnson being able to, when Nate's on the bench, to play the point guard, Danny Young could be a nice high percentage shooter for that from that off guard position.
86-73 Sonics. Walker, gymnastic attack on the basket, and he scores his 6th point. The 5th player chosen in last spring's college draft from Kentucky. 86-75 Sonics. 10.5 minutes to play in tonight's game. 20-footer. Nice rebound by Clement Johnson. Not shy about going inside there despite that very painful broken nose. Tapped up and down by Clem. For in the game for Johnson.
He's not shy of putting his face right into all those loose basketballs, particularly the other night in Boston, where he was down on the floor on many occasions.
He has great trouble breathing. It's very painful. He still has a lot of headaches, but he's out there battling inside. Nate McMillan and Dale Ellis return for the Sonics, replacing Eddie Johnson and Xavier McDaniel.
As the game winds down and the Knicks continue to stay behind, look for Gerald Wilkins to become even more of an offensive force. Or at least look
by Walker, and he has 8 points.
88-77.
Walker's only missed 1 shot tonight. But they ought to go to him more. 4 of 5 from the field for rookie Kenny Walker. 10 seconds on the shot clock. Here's Chambers in the paint, knocked away by Lewis Orr. Wilkins. 26 points for Dominic's little brother, Gerald. And a foul. Technical foul is whistled. Take a look at this.
Here is the block at that end, and it looks to be a decent block. And here comes the dunk. The technical foul that's going to be shooting, that the Knicks are going to be shooting right now, was called on Tom Chambers.
Sparrow shoots the tee and scores at his 3rd point. It'll be played in from the baseline by Chambers. 88-80. The Sonics lead has shrunk to 8 points. And Alvin Lister has returned for Seattle. Chambers from 18 feet. And a rebound right for New York. Wilkins just really closes up in a hurry.
He needs to back way off to Gerald.
Wright loses it. And Chambers has possession, and a jump ball is indicated by Mike Mathis.
Well, there's not a chance that Chambers is going to get a call from Mathis tonight, even though it appeared as if Orr was draped all over Tom's back. The technical that Mike called moments ago means that Tom's not going to get many close calls.
X has replaced Danny Young for the Sonics. It'll be jump between Chambers and Orr. Orr at 6'9". Wright controls it. Got it. Brad Wright playing his second game in the league. And Bernie Bickerstaff wisely takes timeout. 8:58 to play, and the Knicks to come back. The Sonics lead it, but it's just a 6-point advantage at 88-82. On the road for the Sonics. We've been away from home 13 of the last 15 days, and we'll be out another 3 days, culminating with a game in Denver on Thursday. But then we're home for 8 of the last 11 games of the year. It's a very important homestand, and the Sonics can certainly use all the support they can get. Big homestand with Golden State, followed by Detroit, then Sacramento, the Lakers, Portland, and Phoenix, all at the Coliseum. Call the Sonics office for tickets. 281-5800. We're underway in the fourth period. 8:56 to play, and the Sonics lead is 6. X wide open. Tough pass. A bad pass, and it turns it over. So the Knicks with a goal here could close to within 4.
Playing right into the hands of the Knicks in the last 2.5 minutes. Being a little careless offensively.
Wilkins, just a little bit of room, and he slices in. 28 points for Gerald Wilkins. He's hit his last 4 field goal attempts, and it's down to a 4-point lead. Sonics 88, Knicks 84. Here's a 3-point goal by Ellis. Does not go, and Walker beats Chambers to the rebound. 8:10 remaining. Nice pass by Sparrow. Walker does not get the jump hook down, but a foul is whistled on X. That is the second foul to Xavier.
Foul by Xavier McDaniel.
And Kenny Walker will go to the free throw line, a 77% foul shooter.
Well, the Sonics have certainly made life difficult for themselves here in the second half, or in the fourth quarter. Cruising quite nicely, thank you. About 5 minutes ago, they've entered a spell where they've become quite tentative offensively and rather careless.
The Sonics lead is shrunk to 3.
And now these athletes, these underdog Knicks, they start to gain confidence, and they become a whole lot tougher than they were 5 minutes ago.
2-point lead. 88-86, and the pressure applied by the Knicks. 12 seconds to shoot it. Down low to X to the baseline. No, it does not go, and it's rebounded by the Knicks. The Knicks, who only average 40 rebounds a game and have the lowest rebound percentage in the league, getting the big ones here in the fourth period. A goal will tie. Rebound, McMillan.
I think it's important to make Wilkins shoot outside.
Here's Ellis, too long, but Lister with the board is 13th. McMillan is fouled on the penetration. Well, Nate goes down hard. And we'll have 2 shots at the free throw line. Second team foul for the Knicks.
Now, Alton holds it just long enough to give McMillan a chance to streak to the open area. And again, when the Knicks go to picking up Sonics, low on their priority of guys to pick up is McMillan. And Nate wisely goes to the open area near the basket.
The foul is to Kenny Walker. That's his 5th. 2 for Nate. 62% foul shooter. He is 1 of 2 tonight at the line. Oh, he struggles at the foul line.
Sure,
he certainly does everything else.
Sure looks good. He has good release and everything. He just sends it off to the left more times than not.
6 points in the game for Nate. We don't have a... Well, we do too. His rebounds are 9. That's unofficial, but that should be right on the money. Right. Nice little move with the bucket. And the Sonics lead is 1 point. 89-88.
As a turnover, Alton in his haste to get the ball in bounds never went out of bounds. Had 1 foot inbounds and 1 out. Of course, you can't do that.
So the Sonics up by 14, lead now by 1. Wilkins against McMillan. Good job by me. Here's a double team. X. Walker got it, and the Knicks are on top. The Knicks lead it by 1. The Sonics have squandered a 14-point lead. 90 to 89. A lot of time remaining. Nice pass by McMillan. A brilliant pass. A foul in the paint, and X will be at the line.
Foul by Louis Orr. It's Orr's second personal foul, and New York's third team foul.
A foul to Louis Orr is his second. How about this for a number? Inside scoring in the fourth quarter. Knicks 16. Sonics 2 points.
Might give you some indication as to why the Sonics are now in a dogfight.
28-point for McDaniel, ties it at 90. 3 ties tonight. Chambers returns, replacing Ellis. Dale with 12 points in the game. 2 of 6 in the field in the second half. 1 shot remaining for X. And the Sonics lead by 1.
Sonics lead 91-90.
6:25 to go. Lots of time. Walker tries to paint. He has 10 points in this quarter, but he has 5 fouls. Now the Knicks lead it by 1, 92 to 91.
If I was Nate, I'd get it inside the Chambers, that's for sure.
Illegal defense is charged against the Knicks. That's the first illegal D of the game. It's a warning. The next time it'll cost a technical foul. So there's a new 24. And Bob Hill involved in a tight one here on his home floor where the Knicks have lost 4 of the last 5. X is off the front rim. Chambers the putback. Doesn't go. The tap is not there, and Wright comes away with it for the Knicks. Walker is fouled. Tom Chambers with his 4th personal. And Kenny Walker will be at the free throw line. Walker is 3 of 4 from the stripe. 5:44 to go. The lead is 1 for New York. It's 2.
Timeout for the Sonics.
And Bernie Bickerstaff will use a timeout. 5:44 to play. The Knicks lead it by 2. 93-91. The Sonics by 2 points, 93-91. And coming back, there's 1 shot remaining at the line for Walker. Sonics shooting 3 of 10 from the field in the 4th period, while the Knicks are a sensational 9 of 12.
Classic turnaround. The Sonics playing back on their heels now. A confident crew going into the 4th quarter. Becoming tentative and careless offensively, and the result, a wipe out of that 14-point lead, 3 of 10 shooting, and a team that is now dead in the water.
All 9 of those New York field goals are in the paint. So Kenny Walker gives the Knicks a 3-point lead. 94-91 New York. Eddie Johnson, Nate McMillan, Xavier McDaniel, Al Lister, and Tom Chambers. That's good work by the Sonics. It's a tough shot. And a rebound for Walker. Wilkins outside. 30 points for Gerald Wilkins. And the Knicks lead by 5, 96-91.
And you can just feel the confidence level of the Knicks raising right up and out of this roof. And they're going to be a tough team to beat.
Eddie Johnson got it.
That was Eddie Johnson.
4 points for Eddie. 96-93. Dale Ellis will report back in for the Sonics at the next death ball. 4:50 to go. Ten seconds to shoot it. Walker.
That's his sixth. I cannot believe that Kenny Walker did that.
A loose ball foul.
Loose ball foul. Charged against Kenny Walker.
And he is gone. Well, that really hurts. He has been a very, very huge part of this comeback. 12 points in the fourth quarter for Walker. He's played well at the defensive end, and he has lost, disqualified on 6 personal fouls. That hurts the Knicks.
Well, he missed a shot. X did a nice job of making Kenny shoot over him rather than drive to the hoop. Most of Walker's points in the fourth quarter have come from the drive. And he was just excited and has gotten caught up in the comeback of the Knicks, and he just tried to do something he couldn't, jump over X.
Here's Chambers on the alley-oop. No, misfires, and Tucker loses the ball out of bounds. The Knicks turn it over.
Nice pass. Tom doesn't very often miss that shot inside, but that's characteristic of what's happening offensively for the Sonics.
Ellis, 20-footer. Yes, sir. 14 points for Dale Ellis. Had a great time to find his shooting eye. Within 1 now are the Sonics, trailing the Knicks 96-95. Sparrow against McMillan. Chambers has Wilkins. They're going to clear out for Wilkins against Chambers. No, well short of the target, and Wright trying to go back up with it is fouled. Going to the basket, and Alvin Lister collects his second foul.
Everything went well for the Sonics on that play. Tom played well off of Gerald. Made him shoot an air ball, but somebody forgot to block out Mr. Wright.
Yeah, Brad Wright will be his first foul shot in the NBA. And it's no good.
Oh, I can feel for him. When he's the time, well, when he's the time, that means I played a lot. There were a couple of times I went to the free throw line and did just that here in the Garden. Planned.
3:59 to go. The lead is 2 for the Knicks. The goal here will tie. Ellis. And he's got it going now.
He has a unique ability to, when his team needs it, come up with some big hoops. And by that, I mean he can put several on the board in for you in a real hurry.
That one knocks it at 97. 3:38 to play. We've been tied 4 times. Sparrow with 6 seconds on the clock. Right the rebound. Stolen by McMillan. Nice swipe by Nate McMillan. 3:21 to play. Tied at 97. Sonics to go back on top with a goal here.
Spent a little bit too much time dribbling outside.
X with 6 seconds on the clock. Knocks that baby down. 31 points for McDaniel, and the Sonics lead it 99-97. And now the Knicks will take a timeout. 3 minutes and 1 second in the Garden to play, and the Sonics have the lead back 99-97, and it's a nice time to see Dale Ellis collect that shooting touch again.
How many times this year have we seen Dale go for stretches where either A, he didn't get the ball, or B, he had kind of a rough shooting night, a quarter, a couple of quarters, maybe even 3 quarters, but then explode for major league points. And that is why many people think he's going to be one of the best offensive guards in this league for years to come, because of the way he can get points. And the other night against Boston, against maybe the best defensive guard in the league, Dennis Johnson, Dale took his time, picked and chose his way along when to shoot and not to shoot, and ended up with 31 points?
Now Dale, over the last 10 games, has shot it at a 57% rate. Over the last 15 games, he's averaged 29. And from 3 points, he's shooting 48% over the last 10. An absolutely remarkable season for Dale Ellis, a bench warmer in Dallas, a star in Seattle. Turnovers are interesting, Jim. Sonics started horribly in that area with 7 in the first quarter, but for the game, the Sonics have turned it over only 13 times, and the even better news is it's cost only 10 points.
I'm trying to figure out, with the turnovers as low as they are, What was the Sonics shooting percentage here in the fourth quarter? I might have had my headset off when you mentioned that. It's not been very good, has it?
Well, it started very badly. We haven't updated it. It's 7 for 16 at the moment, so that's 43%.
But it did start badly.
Very bad.
That's why I mentioned a couple times the Sonics were confused and tentative there to start that fourth quarter, and that's why the Knicks were able to climb back in it.
Knicks have possession in their front court now as we return with 19 seconds on the shot clock, and the Sonics leading it 99-97. Gerald Henderson, Trent Tucker
trying to force right illegal defense call.
Here's Gerald Wilkins down the baseline, blocked by the throw. They call it foul. Now that looked from here like all ball, but it could well be mistaken on it.
Well, the veteran official underneath, he was maybe 3 feet from the play, did not blow his whistle. It was the young guy out on top, maybe 55 feet, 45 feet away, at least 40 feet away to make the call.
We do not control our own destiny here in New York, so we can't show that replay to you, apparently. It would be interesting to look at it. It looked like an excellent block by Alton, but it goes as his third foul, and the fourth team foul for the Sonics. Knicks also have 4. 2:37 to play, and Dale Ellis knocks it away from Wilkins. 9 seconds on the shot clock with the ball coming in. Gerald Henderson to play it from the side.
Sonics are applying some real good pressure in the backcourt.
Into Orr. Well, he's got it. I thought that was going to be short. Lewis Orr buries it, and we're tied at 99. 5th deadlock of the game. 2:22 remaining.
Sonics are in the penalty, so they'll be shooting any fouls.
Well, the next foul will put them in the penalty. Here's 5 seconds on the shot clock now. Dale Ellis looking for the shot. Does not get it, but he'll go to the line. And that puts the Knicks in the penalty.
Yeah, that's what I meant. The Sonics will be shooting.
Third personal foul. New York is over the limit.
Gerald Wilkins collects his third foul. Bernie Bickerstaff wants this one very badly.
Dale missed a couple free throws the first half, did he not?
Yes, he did. He missed 2 in a row. He's 0 for 2 from the line in the game.
He's getting the reputation on the other side of the coin of being a money player, a clutch player. And that's an awfully good reputation to get.
6 points in his fourth quarter in crunch time for Dale Ellis. 18 in the game for Dale, and the Sonics lead by 2, 101-99. And as we hit the 2-minute mark, Bob Hill takes another timeout for the Knicks. 101 Sonics, 99 Knicks. Going down to the wire. Let's talk for a moment, Jim, while we have an opportunity about that big home stand coming up. Again, the Sonics in a dogfight for that 6th spot in the playoffs. And that's an important spot. Right now, they play Dallas if they finish 7th. And, of course, as followers of the Sonics are aware, Sonics just do not play Dallas well. If they finish 6th, they'll play Portland with a much better opportunity to advance. And that homestand finds the Sonics playing 8 of 11, their final 11 at home, starting with Golden State on Friday, the 27th, then Detroit Sunday. Then on the 31st, Sacramento will be at the Coliseum. On the 2nd of April, the Lakers will be in town. And Portland in a big one on the 4th. And then Phoenix on the 7th. 6 straight at home.
Well, let's break down very quickly what Golden State has remaining. Tonight, 34 and 34. They don't play again until, what night are we? Wednesday night. The Warriors play on Wednesday night. They have played 34 games on the road, including tonight. The Sonics have played 36 games on the road. So the Warriors, who have not been a tremendous team on the road, 37 games on the road for Seattle. They have but, 4 remaining. That means that Golden State has to go out, 3 more times than the Sonics, which should help. In addition, Seattle plays, as you have mentioned, Jimmy, Golden State twice more, and both games are in Seattle, where they're hoping for some big crowds and the same kind of crowds they've had the last several.
Sonics have won 7 in a row at home and 14 of their last 15, and Bernie Bickerstaff credits the crowd with a lot of that success. Back to play, 2 minutes to go. Sonics lead 101-99. Knicks have possession, 17 seconds on the shot clock in the front court. Henderson, Wilkins, Tucker, Orr, and Wright in white for New York. 6 seconds to shoot it. The ball out at 25 feet. Henderson, and Xavier McDaniel is fouled. No goal. A foul charged to Tucker. That's his third. Knicks are over the limit, so X will shoot it. 1 plus the penalty for 2.
You know, one thing during that bad stretch offensively, one thing that Sonics didn't do is get frustrated defensively and do a lot of fouling. And as a result, the Knicks have yet to jump into the penalty situation where they'll shoot. Now, of course, on the next foul by the Sonics, they will. But there's only 1 minute and 42 seconds remaining, and they haven't allowed the Knicks any bonus free throws. That's not a bad characteristic.
1 remaining for the X-Man. He's had an outstanding night tonight.
Inexplicably, X, in the last 3 games before tonight, have been to the free throw line, but 2 times. He just doesn't go very often. Yes.
And he's not shot well the last 3 games. 39% on 24 of 61, but he shot 10 of 13 in the first half tonight. And he has 32 points. 1.5 minutes to play. Sonics lead it by 3. Gerald Wilkins blocked by Lister. Right, knocked away by Chambers. 24-second violation. Gerald Henderson, the old veteran, went up and instead of releasing the ball, passed it in the air and draws the 24-second violation.
That was squarely a play, a magnificent play by Lister right there.
Eldon has at least 5 blocks, perhaps 6.
And another great block by Tom.
Mike Matheson down on the baseline whistles a foul on Gerald Henderson. That's number 3 on the G-man. Well, now the Knicks getting in trouble with these fouls on each one. The Sonics will shoot 2.
Both Tom and Alton were able to block Knicks shots without fouling.
2 shots for Nate.
Now this is where if Nate's going to become a truly great point guard, he needs to be able to understand that he needs to be a better free throw shooter because he handles the ball a lot, and that means in crunch time he'll be fouled a lot. That you can't do.
Oh, look at X hustle after that rebound. Couldn't get to it, and it's New York ball, but the Sonics have another point on the board and lead it 103-99 with 1 minute 10 to go. Curious, Wright is in the game here at crunch time for New York, playing only his 2nd game with the Knicks.
He has a couple of hoops here in the 4th quarter.
In the paint to Wilkins, well short, intimidated by Lister. Orr got a very nice goal by Lewis Orr. And it's 103-101. Sonics by 2 with 47 seconds to play.
If I were Gerald, I'd think about fouling right now.
Yes, I agree.
He doesn't.
Not a good pick there set by Chambers. Pressure still on McMillan. Tom with 3 seconds. He's fouled.
Now that's not a good foul. You're talking about a swing of a guy who shoots. He's in the throws of shooting 90%. Against a guy who just bricked one moments ago.
Tom Chambers. There are not a lot of foul shooters in the league. More reliable at crunch time than this guy. 2 shots for Tom.
Jimmy, there was an occasion in college we had 2 straight games in a cable car classic in San Francisco against USF and Santa Clara. He knocked in the winning free throws 2 games in a row after the game was over. His game tied. He's fouled. He goes to line and knocks in the winner. That's clutch.
We have a timeout with 33 seconds to play in New York, and the Sonics leading 105-101. Hill, Ellis, and McMillan, their starters. The Knicks send out Gerald Henderson, Trent Tucker, Gerald Wilkins, Lewis Orr, and Brad Wright. So Bob Hill is continuing to go with the new acquisition, Brad Wright, who joined the team Saturday. Knicks have possession in the front court. It'll be inbounded by Trent Tucker. Clock starts when touched inbounds. 33 seconds to play. Stolen away. Well, it's not stolen. It's knocked away by Dale Ellis.
But the Knicks have to inbound the ball down at three-quarter court, which means some precious time will tick off with the Sonics pressuring a little bit in the backcourt.
Henderson against McMillan. Oh, rejected by Lister. We know he's got 6 blocks, perhaps 7.
Tell me he hasn't meant the difference, a big difference this year.
Well, now, I'm not going to tell you that.
All right, please don't.
10 seconds on the shot clock. Coming into right. 15-footer. Went 17 feet. Unfortunately for the Knicks, Wilkins was right there. 32 points for Wilkins. Ahead to X. 10 seconds to play. And X is fouled by Henderson. Nate McMillan is very close to a triple-double. He has 10 rebounds, 10 assists, and 7 points.
Well, he again has put some astounding numbers on the board, and when you consider again his lack of offensive output, raw offensive output, in other words, points, it's something else.
X at the line with 2. 33 points tonight for X. His high is 37. 1 to go. This baby's a W, big fella.
Jimmy, were you in Houston with me?
I've been every game. And that goes against the Sonics. Tom Chambers, that's 5 fouls on Tom.
Followed by Tom Chambers.
Well, you don't see that.
That will put the Sonics over the limit now.
You don't see that call very often, but at first glance, it looked kind of tough for Tom and the Sonics.
8 seconds to play in the game. The Sonics lead by 3, 106 to 103. The Sonics led by 14 in the 3rd quarter. The Knicks just hung in there, pestering, and chipped away until they had a 1-point advantage. Dale Ellis came back in the ball game, got it hot from outside, and the Sonics climbed back on top. They lead by 3 with 8 seconds to play.
This baby's a W is floating around still inside the garden here. You want me to go get it, bring it back?
No.
Okay. Well,
you gotta believe, big fella. You gotta believe.
The Sonics have flirted with danger tonight. They've been on the cutting edge.
Tickets for the game are available.
I mean, I guess you don't. It doesn't matter what iron you use as long as you reach the green. And it hasn't been a pretty one here in the 4th quarter.
Trent Tucker is the leading 3-point shooter for New York. 5th in the league at 41%, 46 of 112.
Okay, now
so we'll look for a play design for Mr. Tucker. Let's see if we can listen in on Vernon.
Just in case something comes out long here.
They're going to try and foul immediately.
Well, don't worry about that. We're going right.
Believe me, he's talking about an inbounds play.
If they start banging you around,
play to get the ball inbounds.
Call a quick timeout, and then we can advance the ball. We got 2 timeouts and a 20 left, right? What do they have?
And as you hear, reviewing the timeouts. Who's shooting free throws? Is it Brad Wright?
I'll wait and see when they come out. I'll let you know.
I'm thinking it must be a big man, though they don't have that many big men. Yeah. Louis Orr? No, it's got to be Brad.
Well, let's just wait and see who walks up to the ball.
I think Louis is going to sneak in here. Oh, it can't be Trent Tucker.
Oh, I think it's Louis Orr.
Louis Orr on the line.
Yeah, he's been perfect tonight, has he not?
Louis Orr is a 70% foul shooter. Tonight, he's at 4 in a row. 8 seconds to play. He's long time at the line.
You know, he was messing with his elbow a little bit, like shaking it around, planting it on his side a little bit. It appeared as if he was becoming a little tentative. Doesn't look like it, though. Let's see if he does it on this one. Yeah, he does it again. Maybe that's how he... Yeah, he does that, I guess, to lock it straight.
Orr gets both 2 big shots, and it's a 1-point game, but the Sonics have possession. 8 seconds to play in the game. The Sonics lead it 106-105. The Sonics are hopeful of that at least. 8 seconds on the game clock. Sonics lead by 1 point. Sonics have possession following 2 successful foul shots by Louis Orr of the Knicks.
Now you got to know that the Knicks are going to foul immediately. So that first pass, the Sonics opt to bring it in and use the whole court to inbound the ball. At half court, of course, you can only get it in the front court. Oh, I can't believe that the Knicks aren't going to pressure with everybody.
Well, they weren't, but Gerald Henderson spotted it and directed Orr to pressure Nate McMillan. Inbounded to X. And he is fouled. That doesn't take much time off the clock. 2 seconds. Foul is charged to Sparrow, his second. And it'll be 1 plus the penalty for 2 for X. That's a good, quick foul.
Now, Bernie substituted Eddie Johnson, a reliable free throw shooter, for Alton Lister. Now Alton comes back in for the boards.
McDaniel will be at the line, and he is 9 of 12 at the stripe tonight. 71% foul shooter on the year. 6 seconds to play in the game. And Brad Wright checks back in for the Knicks.
Replacing Louis Orr.
And Louis Orr will go to the bench.
I think it's
big points here for X. An even bigger one now.
Well, a whole lot of things open up with that miss right now.
Clock starts. 5 seconds. Sparrow, 2-point attempt. Scores it. 1 second on the clock. We're tied at 107. One second to play in regulation. Look again at the tying goal.
Well, Rory's a good stop jump shooter, and he does a great job of getting it over the big frame of Alton Lister, who provides a huge person to shoot over. And you can see that, you know, we had a good line on it, and it really looked good.
Absolutely perfect shot. Under pressure. Very pretty. Quite a goal by Rory Sparrow. His 5th points of the night. And boy, are they big ones. 1 second remaining. Tied at 107. And I think that's a short 1 second.
Well, especially here in Madison Square Garden. Although a second, not very long, even at best.
Oh, well, what I'm
I know.
Saying is that the clock does not always reflect. It could be a second and a half.
Yeah.
But I don't think so in this case. Overtime, a distinct possibility. The Knicks in overtime are 1-2 on the year. The Sonics are 2-2. The Knicks have lost a player to fouls, Kenny Walker. So they have only 8 players available. Sonics have played 10 people tonight. They have a full complement. The ball will be unbounded in front court. The clock will not start until it is touched inbounds. Here it is. The pass was off the mark by McMillan. So regulation ends tied at 107. Overtime coming up. Three-point attempt by Chambers. Oh, that's a gutsy shot. 3-point goal gives the Sonics the advantage. 110-107.
That's capital gutsy. But a big one. He's a clutch performer as well.
33 points for Tom. Very confident players. Tom Chambers.
Tom has 5 fouls, though.
4 seconds to shoot it. A forced shot. Oh, goodness. How did that go in the hole? 18 points for Louis Orr off the bench. A 1-point Sonics lead with 4:09 to go. 10 seconds on the shot clock as X works against Tucker. Turn around. Lister, and Lister is fouled on the rebound by Wright. That'll be 3 fouls on Wright. Let's pause briefly for station identification. This is the Sonics Television Network.
You're watching KTZZ Stereo TV 22, Seattle.
Remember now, the penalty is reached on the 4th foul in overtime. Nice pass. Ellis is fouled at the hoop, does not get the goal, but he'll go to the line, and Wright has his 4th foul, and more importantly, that's the 2nd team foul in overtime.
If these guys weren't conditioned to look for one another, there's several times tonight where the Sonics have looked inside and threaded the needle each time, where there needed to be some good eye contact between both players. Recall X and Dale in the first half did the same sort of maneuver that Tom and Dale tried to do right there.
1 shot remaining for Dale Ellis. And he again has reached 20 points. 3:52 to play. The Sonics lead it by 3, 112 to 109.
Dale's got to back off a little bit.
Here's help from McMillan. And a foul as Tucker takes it to the hole. And I believe that's on Ellis.
Foul by Dale Ellis.
It is, and that's number 5 on Dale. First team foul of the overtime for the Sonics.
A couple of reasons why he's got to back off. One, you just saw it graphically displayed. That's his 5th foul. So he's got to play a little bit tentative defensively from here on out, 3:39. Secondly, Gerald Wilkins hasn't proven to be a high percentage shooter, at least tonight, from range.
Wilkins, a 69% foul shooter, will go again. 6 of 8, 6 of 9 from the line for Wilkins. McMillan, another rebound. That's 11 boards in the game from Nate.
What does he need now for a triple-double?
He needs some points. 3 points. X. Yes, sir.
He did that against a triple team, Jimmy.
36 points for Xavier McDaniel, who lost out to Patrick Ewing in the vote for Rookie of the Year last year. Unfairly so, I thought.
You're not prejudiced now, are you?
I don't think so.
I agree with you.
You look at the numbers and look at the games. That Patrick Ewing played, what, 48 games?
Yes, I agree.
3:10 to go. Sonics lead it 114 to 109. That foul to X was his 3rd. Not this time, and Alton Lister, he has 15 rebounds and 6 blocked shots.
Sonics beginning now to take command of tonight's game, at least here in the first couple of minutes.
10 seconds on the shot clock. Still with the dribble is McMillan. There's Ellis off that pick. He shoots that so well. And that's 22 points for Dale Ellis. And the Knicks will use a timeout. 2:36 to go in overtime. Sonics lead it 116-105.
And we've remarked so often this year, Jimmy, about how quick Dale is as a rebounder and taking it back to the glass on the offensive boards. That serves him well as a shooter as well. When he comes off those little screens with the defense trailing close, he can very quickly turn and pop and get up and get the shot off.
2:35 to go in overtime. Sonics with McMillan, Chambers, Ellis, Lister, and McDaniel. And Chambers playing with 5 fouls. Gerald Wilkins. No sir. Or does not get the goal. He'll go to the line.
How many points does Gerald Wilkins have in the late going?
Well, Gerald has 32 points for the game. He has 8 in the 4th quarter. None in the overtime. Here's Louis Orr, 2 shots.
Thought he was a little skinny in the point department in the second half, and that was the 3rd quarter. That was about an hour ago.
18th point tonight for Louis Orr. Sonics now with 3 team fouls, 1 more, and they're over the limit. 116-111. Pressure. And to clear it out, he's fouled in the backcourt.
Fouled by Gerald Wilkins.
Gerald Wilkins has his fourth.
That's his fourth personal foul.
And that's the third team foul. So now team fouls are even, 3 each. The next team foul for either club will put them over the limit. 2:08 remaining. Nate's still in the backcourt. Wide open. Yes, sir. And X has 38 points, an all-time career NBA high. 118-111. 1:48 to play. Sonics on top here in the overtime period. Gerald. Rebound for Chambers. Sansor beats him. Rejected by Wright, out of bounds to the Sonics. Well, Brad Wright has proved to be a solid investment for the Knicks.
And here you see why. Comes over, and Dale Ellis doesn't get his shots blocked very often.
Wright was averaging 10 rebounds a game, 6 in the CBA in Wyoming before he joined them. Chambers clears it out of trouble. Good job by Tom. Wide open, no one near, and he nailed that baby. 24 points for Dale Ellis. 120-111. Sonics running away with it here in overtime. A minute 6 to play in OT. No basket.
No basket.
A foul was committed out front, says Blaine Reichelt, by Nate McMillan.
Foul by Nate McMillan.
That's number 2 on McMillan.
His second
We got to get Nate McMillan 3 more points here.
Well, let's get him over here and tell him to. Well, he might get fouled a couple more times.
A thoughtful Bob Hill. Lots of people being mentioned for his job, including Larry Brown of Kansas, Rick Pitino of Providence, John McLeod, the former Phoenix coach, Jim Valvano of North Carolina State, Billy Cunningham was mentioned, Bobby Crennans, John Thompson, even Bobby Knight. Feeling is running high for Larry Brown. Henderson with both has 15 points against his former mates tonight. That's New York ball. First turnover in the overtime. Boy, is X hot about this call.
Well, I mean, he needs to be. Goodness gracious, the ball was, I mean, it was very obviously.
Very angry also. Well, we don't have a replay to show you. Unfortunately, the game is what we call a share. It's being televised also in New York, so Rick Jones, our producer-director, is not calling the shot. A 3-point goal by Trent Tucker. Well, that changes things quickly. 121-16. Sonics lead by 4 and under pressure. And Ellis is fouled by Henderson. That's 5 fouls to Gerald. 48 seconds to play in a 4-point Sonics lead in the overtime.
You don't think that missed call is a big one? Goodness, that wasn't even close. In fact, the Knicks were a little surprised. They got the ball.
I can't imagine why that wasn't shown back. A thoughtful Bob Hill. 1 plus the penalty for 2 for Dale Ellis. Seven points in the OT for Dale, 25 for the game. .48 seconds to play, 123, 122, 116. Sonics lead it. Wilkins is short. And McDaniel scoops up the loose ball. 33 seconds to play. Here's Tom. Nope, not going to shoot it. 9 seconds on the shot clock. And McDaniel is tackled by Wright. That's the 5th foul for Wright. 21 seconds to play, and the Sonics are beginning to celebrate now. They lead at 122 to 116 with X at the line for 2 shots.
Xavier McDaniel shooting 2.
New York fans starting to leave. They've conceded the victory. X adds on to his career high. It's 39 now. X is 11 of 15 from the line tonight.
He's the only one of the threesome, Ellis, Chambers, the other two, that haven't scored, or that hasn't scored 40 until that moment.
21 points to play. Timeout. Sonics lead it by 8. 124 to 116 in overtime. Overtime in New York. Sonics lead it 124 to 116. It'll be inbounded by Gerald Henderson in the Knicks front court under the guard of Nate McMillan.
Tom, be ready. Be ready. Be ready. Go in. Tom.
He violated. So that's a violation for the Knicks. And, oh, excuse me, a timeout is taken. No violation. Timeout was taken. He could not get the ball in, so he took the timeout. Timeout, no change. 21 seconds to play, and the Sonics lead it by 8 in overtime. Gerald Henderson at 6. So Gerald is disqualified on 6 personal fouls. He'll lead the game with 15 points.
Well, 35 and 35.
Gerald Henderson.
One more game on the road. That's Denver in a couple of nights.
2 shots for Nate McMillan. He has 7 points in the game. Oh,
he'd have his triple-double if he knocked those free throws in, huh?
Yes, he would.
Look at somebody's enjoying the game tonight, huh? Crossword puzzle.
So Nate gets one more. He has 8 points with 11 rebounds and 10 assists. 3-point attempt. Good by Rory Sparrow. 125-121 with 8 seconds to play. And another foul. 6 seconds showing on the clock. Trent Tucker picks up his 5th foul.
His 5th personal
You know,
foul.
the NCAA has found out in a quick hurry something perhaps they knew all year long was the 3-point shot can make a huge difference, i.e. the Indiana or the UNLV game the other day in Seattle. And with Rory Sparrow knocking that one down, and only 4 points separating, these free throws are very, very big.
Yes, indeed.
Because, as you know, that clock stops after every score.
1 shot remaining for Dale.
Now it's over.
Got it. Big overtime period for Dale Ellis. 9 points. 126-121. 2 seconds. Game over. The Sonics have defeated the New York Knicks in overtime. The final score, the Sonics 126, the Knicks 121.